After Morgan was sent off and the president was escorted out by Tristan, they could finally rest. When Tristan spotted Sophie sitting there alone like she was waiting for him, he walked over directly. "Now that everyone is gone, let's grab something to eat. You must be hungry." As she had been toasting the guests constantly, she did not have time to eat. "Yeah, it's finally over." There were too many guests present. Sophie wasn't particularly skilled at socializing, so having Tristan by her side on such occasions was a relief. The three groomsmen had been drinking quite a lot. Isabel took care of Felix while Georgina took care of Arius, leaving Sean all alone. Although Cecilia had thought about checking on him, she ultimately decided against it. Given the awkwardness between them now, it was better to leave it be. Besides, nothing bad would happen to a grown man like him. She only wondered if those women who had their eyes on him would make a move at a time like this. Tristan and Sophie went to have dinner. The hotel staff had already prepared food for them. Normally, the three groomsmen and bridesmaids would eat together. However, only Cecilia was there. "Will I be disturbing the two of you if I eat here? If so, I'll just go back and eat," asked Cecilia deliberately. "What are you saying? We are supposed to eat together. Since the five of them are not here, let's eat together. You must be tired today too." Being a bridesmaid was exhausting, especially since Cecilia was a popular actress. She encountered many fans who requested to take photos with her. Having agreed to all of the requests, she was truly exhausted. Her face ached from all the smiling, though it was not entirely unpleasant. "Sophie, I actually wanted to have a joint wedding with you. Who would have thought that I'd end up being the one who remained single?" Cecilia couldn't help but feel a little regretful. "There's no need to rush. You're still young." Cecilia was only 21 years old, so there was no need to hurry. She only married at such a young age because she was fortunate to have found the right person. Nowadays, many girls didn't get married until they were around 30 years old. "Yeah, you're right. I'm still young. Tristan, you have to work hard. Sophie, let's make an agreement. I'll be the child's godmother. I've already reserved that position, so no one can snatch it from me." They were so close that Cecilia would genuinely be upset if she couldn't be the child's godmother. "Don't worry. You'll definitely be my child's godmother." Although Sophie did not know when she would have a child, she didn't object to having a child now that she was already married. Although she wasn't ready for motherhood, she was looking forward to it. "All right, let's eat first. You didn't have much for lunch. You've had a tiring day too, so eat more." Tristan served some food to Sophie. Now, she belonged to him alone. After the three of them finished their meal at the hotel, Cecilia received a call from her manager and had to leave immediately. She had wanted to stay and join the remaining activities. However, her manager was urging her to go back immediately. "Sophie, I'm leaving. I wanted to spend more time with you." Cecilia was actually very reluctant to leave. Instead, she wanted to keep Sophie company. "Go ahead. I know that you're busy. I'll visit you at work a few days later." She knew that Cecilia had something on her mind, but now wasn't the time to bring it up. "I can arrange for someone to send you there." "There's no need for that. My manager is already waiting for me outside. I'll manage fine." Cecilia left, determined to give her best performance in this movie regardless of what was weighing on her mind. Given how remarkable the production of this movie was, she couldn't afford to disappoint the scriptwriter, the director, and the entire team's hard work. Tristan and Sophie returned to the luxurious presidential suite, which was adorned with colorful decorations. They would spend their first wedding night there. As soon as they entered the room, Sophie kicked off her high heels and sank onto the bed. After hours of wearing them, her feet were aching. She couldn't fathom how Cecilia managed to stride effortlessly in high heels. Noticing her exhaustion, Tristan fetched a basin of water. "Soak your feet. It'll make you feel better." "Okay." Sophie grasped Tristan's hand and sat up. As she soaked her feet, she thought that a proper bath would do her good. However, She suspected that Charles and the others wouldn't let them off easily tonight. Knowing that they would come to prank them on their wedding night, she hadn't changed out of her clothes yet. After soaking her feet, she changed into a pair of comfortable slippers. She hadn't removed her makeup yet. I must clean my face thoroughly later on. Before she did anything, Tristan was already starting to undo her hair. Despite his lack of expertise, he handled her hair with utmost care. Not once did he cause her any discomfort. Aren't the rest planning to prank us on our wedding night? Although Sophie had not been married before, she was aware of these marriage rites. Don't bother with them. He wouldn't allow anyone to disrupt their wedding night. Why don't you take a bath and change your clothes first? We'll leave immediately. Their honeymoon awaited them next. With the wedding ceremony completed, they had fulfilled their obligations, so from now on, she belonged solely to him. Where are we going? As he had not told her anything, she did know what he was planning. Our honeymoon. Tristan's voice carried a sense of anticipation. He prepared the bathwater and gently carried her into the tub. Bathe now. I've already prepared your clothes. I'll shower and change too. Then, we'll be ready to depart. By the time the rest arrived to prank them, they would already be on the plane. After bathing, Tristan and Sophie promptly headed to the airport. Their plane was already there. A bright grin hung on her face, even till they boarded the plane. Are you that happy? Yeah, I'm overjoyed. Tristan, from this day onward, you'll only belong to me. Remember, from now on, you're mine alone. Of course. I'm yours and you're mine. We belong only to each other. It was after much difficulty that Charles finally managed to gather Felix and Sean to disturb the newlyweds. However, upon reaching the presidential suite, they discovered that Tristan and Sophie had already escaped. The group stood inside the room. As they observed their surroundings, they suddenly felt like fools. Where's Tristan? Isn't tonight his wedding night? Aren't they supposed to wait for us here? Where are they? Charles felt a tinge of disappointment. This is a golden opportunity to tease Tristan. Do you really think he would just sit here and let you play pranks on him? Sean slouched onto the sofa as his head was still throbbing. Felix said, he must have gone on their honeymoon. Smart move. I'll escape immediately after my wedding too. So, I prepared so many games for nothing? Charles asked, clearly peeved. For the past few days, he focused on developing several exciting games. As he did not dare to provoke Tristan on regular days, he did not pass up the golden opportunity to prank the latter on his wedding night. However, he did not expect Tristan to just disappear. I can't be bothered with the two of you anymore. I'm going to accompany my girlfriend. She's still in the room. With that, Felix turned and left. Nothing is more important than my darling. Besides, Mr. Tristan is the first to get married. If we went overboard with the pranking, won't karma bite back when it's our turn to get married in the future? Charles is such an idiot. Sean felt a headache coming along since he had quite a few drinks. He was no longer in the mood to continue. Plus, the stars of the wedding weren't there, so it was useless to pull pranks. Do as you see fit. I'm going back to rest. He patted Charles on the shoulder and returned to his room. Only Charles was left in the presidential suite. All of a sudden, loneliness filled his heart. Why is it that I'm the only one being left out in the end? What's wrong with everyone? Can't they take care of my broken heart? Why are they so mean? Isabel woke up from her nap when Felix returned. Seeing him walk into the room, she blearily asked, "Didn't you go to pull a prank on Uncle Tristan? What are you doing back here?" "How are we supposed to prank them? Don't you know how witty your uncle is? Why would he give us a chance to trick him?" He left with Sophie the moment the ceremony ended. God know where they went. Oh. Isabel gaped in surprise. Well, that's true. Uncle Tristan definitely won't let others have any chance to disturb him and Sophie. With such a stunningly beautiful wife and the fact that he has upheld his vow of chastity for so many years, It made sense that he would be impatient. Felix climbed into the bed and lay next to Isabel. Isabel, Mr. Tristan and Sophie are married. Don't you think it's time you consider marrying me? The two of them went through a lot, especially when he almost could not return from Fandar, hence, he treasured the time he spent with her. Okay, Isabel replied. She pondered for a moment before continuing. I will take your question into consideration, but you must think of how you want to propose to me. With that, Isabel turned around and fell back to sleep. Being a bridesmaid was not as easy as she thought. After a whole day of running around, she was knackered. Since she had nothing to do, she wanted to sleep. On the other hand, Tristan and Sophie were even more exhausted when the day ended. The moment they boarded the plane, Tristan asked for 2 blankets. He placed one on Sophie and the other on himself. Sophie leaned against his shoulder. She was too tired to even speak. Fortunately, they were the only passengers on the plane. No one came to disturb them either. It was pretty peaceful. If they had stayed behind in the hotel, Charles and the others would have thought of a way to pull a prank on them on their wedding night, and they would have been worn out. If that were the case, it would have been better for Tristan and Sophie to be where they were now, resting on a plane as they went on their honeymoon. With no one to disturb them, the world seemed to have turned quiet, as though they were the only 2 people on Earth. All right. I know you're very tired today. Why don't you take a nap? We should be arriving when you wake up. Tristan whispered. Okay. You need to rest too. I can see that you're in a worse state than I am. Sophie had seen Tristan moving around throughout the entire wedding ceremony. Not only did he have to greet the guests, but he also had to take care of her. He had planned and settled everything about the wedding alone, which was why she said he was more tired than her. Let's sleep together. Tristan grabbed her hand. It'll be different this time. From now on, we only belong to each other. With exhaustion taking over the couple, it did not take long for them to fall asleep on the plane. When they woke up, the plane was beginning to descend. After sleeping for so long, they felt much more energetic than before. Tristan asked an air stewardess to prepare a glass of warm water for Sophie and a coffee for himself. Drink some water. We won't eat on the plane. Besides, the food isn't tasty either. Although it was his private plane and the food was edible, he figured it would be better for them to eat after they landed. Okay. Sophie held the glass in her hands. She had tired herself out yesterday. She barely had time to sit down and drink water as she was so busy. Hence, she was parched. She drank the water in one gulp to quench her thirst. Tristan sipped a few mouthfuls of coffee and immediately felt refreshed as the caffeine kicked in. The plane finally landed. The air stewardess opened the plane door and bid farewell to the couple as they got off. Take care, Mr. and Mrs. Lombard. A sweet smile was plastered on her lips as she glanced at them. Tristan gave the air stewardess a handsome tip as he was happy to hear her calling Sophie Mrs. Lombard. The air stewardess immediately thanked him when she received the monetary gift. As soon as they got off the plane, they were greeted by scorching heat and the sound of waves. Tristan had arranged their honeymoon to be at Miralia. Many people said this is the most suitable place for a honeymoon. I hope you like this place, even though I didn't discuss it with you. Tristan had handed his work to Felix. Now, he could stay at Miralia with Sophie for however long they liked. Sophie took the initiative to link arms with him as they walked out of the airport. How could I not be satisfied when he didn't even ask me to lift a finger? I'd be ungrateful if I weren't happy with his planning. Tristan had already booked a hotel. The two of them went to complete the check-in procedures. As for their luggage, someone had already brought them to the hotel. When they entered the room, Sophie went to shower and change into a dress. Miralia is a great place to wear dresses. Tristan had been the one who chose the dress. He always had a keen eye for fashion. The dress Sophie wore was light pink. It shaped her figure beautifully and showed off her long, slender, milky white legs. Sophie, we're married. Yeah, I know. What about it? So, I don't want to wait any longer. Sophie's face reddened in embarrassment when she saw the hungry look in his eyes. She knew what he was talking about. Since he doesn't want to wait any longer, then we won't wait. Can I? Sophie's face was as red as a tomato, but she nodded. I should have given in to him a long time ago. For the next hour or so, Sophie finally understood how insatiable a man could be. Sophie shut her eyes and rested when they finished. She was spent. Her skin glistened with sweat as every cell in her body screamed at her to sleep. Her body was sore, and she ached all over. Tristan called the reception to have a housekeeper change the bed sheets. After that, he helped her shower and put on a nightgown before he carried her out. Take a nap. I'll ask someone to bring up some food for us when I'm done showering. I assume you don't want to go out at the moment. Yeah. Sophie could not even open her eyes to look at Tristan as she replied to him. She always thought she had great stamina. However, she was no match for Tristan. It was also her first time. Hence, she was drained. Seeing her lying on the bed weakly, Tristan kissed her forehead and lips adoringly. How is there such a woman in the world who can make me fall head over heels for her? Tristan went to take a cold shower. He then changed into a new set of clothes and asked the hotel staff to bring them food. He stared at the food before glancing at the woman fast asleep on the bed. Without any hesitation, he climbed into bed and hugged her to sleep. She must have been exhausted for the past 2 days. I should let her have a good rest. Another 7 hours went by as they slept. When they woke up, Sophie felt a burning pain between her legs. She glared at the man beside her. At the start, he had promised to be gentle with her. At present, she felt like her hip was about to snap in half from how rough he was. Tristan immediately embraced her when he saw the look in her eyes. Darling, you can't blame me for this. Everything happened because you look absolutely beautiful. That's why I lost control. Does it hurt a lot? Let me check. With that, Tristan bent over, wanting to take a look. Sophie quickly pushed him away. Don't look. Otherwise, you won't be able to hold yourself back. Sure enough, men are all beasts. Well then, we should get up and eat. You must be hungry after all that exercise. Tristan exclaimed as he carried her to the couch. The hotel had excellent customer service. The food they sent up was stored in thermal containers. Hence, it was still warm. Come on, open your mouth. I'll feed you. Tristan knew she felt sore all over, so he fed her to make it up to her. Sophie was not temperamental, but she was lazy to move even though she had recovered most of her strength. After all, someone was willing to take care of her. Tristan quickly ate the rest of the food after ensuring Sophie was full. Eat slowly. You'll hurt your stomach if you eat too fast, Sophie reminded him. She studied medicine, so she cared deeply about his health. I know. As expected, Tristan slowly chewed on his food after what Sophie said. He could ignore the sarcasm and jokes that others made, but he was obedient when it came to his wife. After eating, Sophie still had no plans of going out. The weather outside is great, but the view from the room is magnificent too. Their room came with an ocean view. They could see the vast sea and light blue sky through the floor-to-ceiling windows of their room. The designers were also attentive to the design of the room. It looked like it was decorated explicitly for couples or newlyweds. There was also a swing in the room. Sophie sat on the swing and enjoyed the view while Tristan sat on the floor beside her and occasionally pushed the swing gently. Are you still hurt down there? Should I go out and buy you some medicine? Tristan had lost control and went all out, but Sophie was not that fragile. There's no need for that. I'll be fine in 2 days. 2 days. Tristan cried out. 2 days is too long. Since we're here for our honeymoon, shouldn't we do what we like without inhibitions? Why? Do you have a problem with that? I'm still sore down there. Didn't he vow to take good care of me? Of course not. What problem would I have? However, Tristan still went out to buy medicine when she was not paying attention. He did not have any ulterior motives. He just did not want her to be in discomfort. Sophie felt her face heat up in embarrassment when Tristan offered to help her apply the medicine. I can't believe you went out to buy it. Oh my gosh. Is he not shy to buy such a thing? Well, I can't bear to see you in pain, so of course, I went to buy it. Come here. I'll help you apply the medicine. Does he want to help me apply the medicine? Though the two of us are already intimate with one another, I'm not that shameless to have him help me apply the medication in that area. Sophie cleared her throat and said, It's all right. I can do it myself. Just thinking about it was enough to make her blush in embarrassment, much less having him really apply the medicine. Are you sure you don't need me to take care of you? This is a rare chance. Tristan wanted to take care of her badly. Plus, they had already seen each other in their birthday suits. There was nothing wrong with him helping her with the medicine. I'm sure. Just then, Tristan's phone rang. He immediately answered the call when he saw it was from his father. Hello, Dad. What's wrong? Geez. We're in the middle of our honeymoon. Can you not call me and interrupt us? Don't you know how annoying it is? It's nothing. I just wanted to call and ask you to take good care of Sophie. How are things? Where are you? William asked. He knew the youngsters needed alone time when they had just gotten married. He had no other intentions. He just wanted to check on them. We're all right. Don't worry. I'll take good care of her. She's my wife. Who else should take care of her apart from me? Of course, I would care for my wife. That's a given. Okay. Do your best over there. When you come back, I hope it'll be 3 people returning. William said tactfully, but in reality, that was precisely what he wanted. Tristan was at a loss for words. Didn't I just get married? Dad, I just got married. I haven't had enough alone time with her. I only got out of my abstinence. Why would I get myself tied down with a burden that quickly? I'm telling you, you're not getting any younger. Hurry and have a child. I can help you look after them while I'm still in the pink of health. If I wait another few years, I might not have the energy. I'm doing this for their own good too. All right. We'll do as we see fit. I have something to do. I'll hang up now. Tristan immediately ended the call without waiting for a response from William. I've had enough of that old man. I'm a newlywed. Why is he pushing me to have a child? Sophie stared at him after he hung up. Tristan reached over and wrapped his arm around her shoulders before pulling her close and letting her lean against him. Don't worry. We'll let nature take its course on the matter concerning babies. You don't need to feel the pressure. All right. She must have overheard the conversation I had with Dad. Okay. I'm also excited to have a child, but we'll just go with the flow. Everything will be okay as long as I don't take contraceptive pills, Sophie replied. He's already in his 30s. It's only natural for him to have children at his age. All right. Tristan placed a soft kiss on her forehead. This girl. How can she be so thoughtful? She's much younger than me. She must be considering my age since she's thinking of having children. Sophie went to the bedroom to apply the medicine. Sure enough, she felt much more comfortable after that. He's too big. It makes sense that I would get hurt. Plus, he's pretty rough in bed. Seeing that Sophie was in a better condition, Tristan brought her out. Since they were at Miralia, they should explore the area. Besides, they shouldn't keep staying inside the hotel. Although he wanted very much not to leave the comfort of their room, he was worried that she would not be able to handle him. Most of the people who went to Miralia were either couples or newlyweds. Hence, the place was surrounded by couples being lovey-dovey. No matter where you turned to look, you would see people kissing or doing more intimate acts. After all, there were even some people who could not control themselves. When they arrived at the beach, Sophie lounged on a beach chair while Tristan sat beside it and accompanied her. It was their first day at Miralia, so he did not plan anything. There are a lot of water sports activities here. When she's well rested, I'm sure she will be interested in trying all of them. Sophie wore a pair of sunglasses. The corners of her lips tugged into a smile when she saw the bored expression on Tristan's face. Sophie tilted her head to the side as she asked, "Wasn't it you who wanted to come here? Why do you look unhappy?" "I'm not. Even if we aren't doing anything, I'm happy as long as I'm by your side." Isn't this what a honeymoon should be like? Enjoying the scenery and doing what you feel like doing? Although he wanted to give her a different experience, he couldn't take her to the moon for real. More importantly, being on the moon was no fun. Sophie sat up from the beach chair. "Forget it. I've seen enough of this scenery. Let's go back. It's more comfortable in the room. It's too hot here." Sophie was afraid of both the heat and the cold. "Sure. Let's go. It's better to be in the room. At least I can do whatever I want in there. It feels great just thinking about it." The two of them held hands as they returned to the hotel. They wore casual clothing, nothing too fancy. It was pleasant to go on a vacation since they did not need to do anything. They soon arrived at the hotel. They were staying in a private mansion with an attached swimming pool near the beach. "Let's go swimming. I've already prepared a swimsuit for you." Tristan dragged her to the bedroom and looked for her swimsuit. Sophie was rendered speechless when she saw the so-called swimsuit. "Oh boy. There's so little material. What can I cover with it? Go change. Don't be afraid. It's only us here. You'll only be wearing it for me to see." Tristan grinned cheekily. "Tristan, are you going to have that kind of thoughts at any time and anywhere now? This swimsuit doesn't even look like my usual style. Can't I? Besides, it's not wrong for me to have those thoughts, right? After all, they were legally husband and wife now." "Of course. There's nothing wrong about that." Sophie went to change into the swimsuit. "He's right. Besides, the pool is within the mansion's compound. No one will be able to see me aside from him. It'll be fine to wear such a skimpy bathing suit." Tristan had already changed and was waiting for her by the door when she finally came out wearing the swimsuit. She was usually very calm. However, she could not help but blush at the man before her. Tristan donned a pair of swimming trunks. His upper body was exposed, showing his toned abs. His long legs and thick thighs were also attractive. At that moment, she felt like he was seducing her. This feeling is really different. Tristan was also shocked. The swimsuit he had chosen for her was wine red in color. It was a two-piece suit that fit her well. Her slender waist and flat stomach were captivating enough to leave anyone locked on her beauty. Her long, slender legs were stunning, as usual. Tristan gulped as he stared at Sophie. At that moment, he did not feel like going out for a swim. He wanted to do something else he liked in the room instead. "Let's go," Tristan said as he approached Sophie. He held onto her waist and lifted her before going to the swimming pool outside. He put her down when they arrived at the poolside. He went into the pool first. After that, he held out his hand to her. Grabbing his hand, Sophie also got into the water. She squeaked as he pulled her into his embrace. The two of them were wrapped in each other's arms in the pool. All of a sudden, she felt her heart beating at a rapid pace. She felt seduced by Tristan. "What are you doing? Aren't we here to swim?" she asked. "How are we supposed to swim if we're pressed against each other like this? Let me hold you a little longer." Tristan was no longer in the mood to swim after catching sight of the mesmerizing Sophie. "Anyway, we'll be here for a few days. I can always find another chance to swim." Sophie did not refuse, allowing him to hug her as he liked. She was exceptionally indulgent toward Tristan. Even though it was a short moment of tight embrace, the man felt almost like he had everything in the world. "You know, Sophie, before I met you, I used to think that I'll probably be alone in this lifetime. But after I got to know you, I realized that my life will be perfect only when I'm with you." "Yeah, me too. I also thought I'd lead a mundane life for the rest of my life. But then I met you. You made me realize that I'm very blessed to be able to spend my life with you." Tristan was getting naughty ideas in his head. Initially, Sophie was a little resistant as they were outdoors. "We're in public. It won't be good if someone takes a photo of us." After all, they were considered prominent figures. She reckoned the repercussions would be huge if someone took photos of them in a compromising position. "Don't worry. The security here is very tight. Otherwise, how can they charge us so much for a place like this? You can do whatever you want in this mansion." The open-air environment stimulated one's senses and emotions. It was entirely different from being inside the rooms. Besides, Tristan did not want to lose any possible opportunity. He had been waiting for the day he could have Sophie ever since he knew her. Now that she finally became his, he no longer wanted to let her go. "Remember, Sophie, you're mine in this lifetime. Please don't leave me. Understand? I'll never leave you. I want to be with you forever. Not just in this life. Hopefully, we can also be a couple in our next life too. I love you," Tristan whispered in her ear. Things began to grow passionate between them, and ultimately, they decided to call it a day. Tristan carried Sophie back and into the bathroom, and the two allowed themselves to lose themselves in pleasure again. After 2 rounds consecutively, Sophie was genuinely so tired she fell asleep as soon as the man helped her wash up. Seeing how exhausted she was, Tristan felt somewhat guilty. Have I gone overboard? Then again, he could not control himself when he was with Sophie. Tristan leaned over and left a peck on her forehead. "Honey, have a good rest." He never knew the term honey was capable of such magic that he would feel a sweet sense of bliss as he uttered it. At this point, Tristan was also worn out. He lay beside her, and the two fell asleep together. In truth, he did not feel like heading out for all 7 days upon their arrival at Miralia. All he wanted was to stay with Sophie and spend time with her intimately. It was a feeling he could not stop savoring. He had no intention of heading out for fun. Then again, he figured Sophie would not be able to stand it thus. He eventually gave up on that idea. Getting intimate was, in fact, no easy feat by the time Sophie woke up. Tristan was already sitting in front of his laptop, seemingly busy with something. While she put on her dress, she found her body filled with love bites and bruises. "There's no way I can step out of here like this. From the looks of it, we might have to stay indoors for the next few days here at Miralia." Sophie felt her head aching. Isn't he a man with high self-control? Why does it seem like he's showing his true colors after marriage? Then again, it was clear she enjoyed it too. That was why she would surrender herself to him too. When Sophie finished freshening herself up and brushing her hair, she walked out, only to find Tristan busy with work. She walked over and stood beside him. "What are you busy with? Is there something wrong with Lombard Group? Didn't he leave all matters in Felix's hands? Why is he still busy with work right now?" Felix encountered a little problem. He couldn't solve it himself, so I'm helping him out. It's no big deal. Are you still tired? Why don't you sleep a while longer? Tristan pulled her into his embrace. Sophie coyly shot him a glance. Whose fault is it that I'm so tired? Would I be so tired if not for you? How dare he say that? I'm sorry for lacking in self-control. But you're so adorable. I couldn't restrain myself. Sorry. I promise to control myself next time. It's because I just got a taste of pleasure, hence why I went wild. I'll definitely be more cautious in the future. At the sight of those hickeys on her body, Tristan could not help but feel sorry. Does it hurt? Aware of what he was referring to, Sophie shook her head. Well, it did not actually hurt that much. Have you settled it? If yes, let's get someone to bring us some food. I'm hungry. She was famished after getting laid twice. I'll get the hotel manager to send some food over. They were staying at a mansion, so Tristan did not bring along their helpers as he did not like having any outsiders around. The man made a phone call while cuddling Sophie tightly in his arms. Hey, put me down. Continue with your work. We'll eat when you're done. Sophie wanted to break free from his embrace, but he was reluctant to let her go. No, let me hug you a while more. It's all right for Felix to wait. Compared to Felix, Sophie was obviously much more important. Meanwhile, Felix was still in front of his computer, patiently waiting. Given Mr. Tristan's capability, he should be able to give me an answer within 30 minutes. But I've been waiting for more than an hour and there's still no response from him. Sean and Charles were there as well. Why is he taking so long? Didn't he say it'll only take him 30 minutes? Charles asked curiously. It's already the second day of their honeymoon. Could it be that the two have such high sex drives? Why are you looking at me? It's not like I follow them along. How will I know? Sean was not in a good mood the past few days. The recent events had left the disciplined man at a loss. Don't look at me either. I'm also waiting here, just like the two of you, said Felix. Oh well. A married man is indeed. Charles wanted to talk about the disadvantages of getting married, but he could not think of anything. Forget it. I've always made a fool of myself. It has never changed. Right then, Tristan finally came online. Mr. Tristan, what have you been doing? Why did you take so long? Weren't he still online earlier? I'm eating with Sophie. What is it? Do you guys have a problem with that? To Tristan, his wife always came first. Everyone else, including his friends, was secondary. The three men were rendered speechless. They just knew that was the case. I'm telling the truth, Mr. Tristan. If you continue acting like this, you'll surely become a henpecked husband. Charles truly felt that way. What's wrong with being a henpecked husband? That only shows that I love my wife. Do you have a problem with that? Tristan did not think that was a problem. In fact, he liked being one. It had always been like this. He would listen to anything Sophie said. In fact, he was willing to let Sophie take charge of him if she wanted to. No, I don't have any objections whatsoever. I wouldn't dare to object, Charles responded and proceeded to fall silent. Forget it. It's useless to try to persuade him to change his mind. They are currently enjoying their honeymoon and won't take any advice from me. Felix chimed in. All right, Mr. Tristan. Is the problem solved? We know we shouldn't disturb you right now, but that problem is beyond our means. That was why we decided to get your help. The couple was on their honeymoon, and they were displeased by the rude interruption. Thus, this should never happen again. I'm glad you know that. I'm on vacation, so don't come and seek my help for every trivial matter, Tristan retorted with a hint of annoyance as he sent the document to them. Here it is. I must go now. I want to spend quality time with my wife. He refused to waste time talking to them. Mr. Tristan, is married life really that wonderful? Sean suddenly asked. He had always assumed he would remain unmarried for the rest of his life, but upon seeing Tristan, he couldn't help but wonder if being married was actually a rather wonderful experience. If the question was asked by the two other men, Tristan wouldn't bother answering them. Nevertheless, as it was Sean who posed that question, Tristan was kind to take the time to answer him. Yes, getting married is truly wonderful. When you find someone you love deeply and marry her, it brings an immense sense of happiness and fulfillment to your life. After a pause to let that sink in, he added, Sean, you should let it go. It wouldn't do Sean any good if he were to clutch tightly to his past. Plus, Cecilia was a nice young lady. Charles and Felix glanced at Sean, knowing that the latter had been in a dilemma lately. However, the decision was ultimately his to make, and no one else could intervene or assist him in that matter. After the call ended, Tristan padded over to join Sophie. What did they say? Did they scold you for prioritizing me over them? Sophie asked. She had advised him to focus on his work earlier, but he chose to stay by her side instead. What they said wasn't important. You're my priority, Tristan responded as he hugged her from behind. Why? Are you bored? He continued. If she's bored, we can do something enjoyable. Sophie was speechless. All she wanted to do now was to get some rest. Her entire body was aching badly. They just got married, so she felt that he should control himself. Seeing her reaction, Tristan quickly explained, "I didn't mean anything else. Don't worry. I'm not a beast." He knew she was feeling unwell and would never force her against her wishes just to satisfy his own desires. Let's just rest in the room, okay?" Sophie didn't feel like heading out as she was too tired. "Okay, we'll stay in the room instead of heading out," Tristan agreed. He carried her to the couch and poured a glass of warm water for her. "Have some water." As they were still newlyweds, they felt contented being together even after spending several days in each other's face. They didn't feel annoyed or frustrated with each other's presence. They felt blissfully happy. For the next few days, they didn't bother heading out and spent their days in the mansion, leaving traces everywhere. They didn't bother controlling themselves as they were finally married. Those who exercised self-control must have done so because their other half wasn't attractive or capable enough. Tristan was capable, and Sophie was gorgeous. Meanwhile, Sophie had changed her mind completely about Tristan. Before this, he was a calm and composed man. Right now, he could only think of engaging in intimate activities with her no matter where they were. They were about to head back home but had yet to visit any places. "Why don't we extend our vacation? There are still many places we haven't visited," Tristan suggested. They were on their honeymoon after all, and it would be a shame to miss out on the tourist spots in the area. "Sure. Victor is holding the fort at Tanner Group while Arius and Georgina are at the Medical Association. I'm game if you're free," Sophie replied. She knew that he should be busy with Lombard Group. Tristan decided happily, "Since we've made it here, we'll extend our vacation." He wasn't worried as Felix and the rest were in charge of managing Lombard Group. The higher-ups of Lombard Group were capable enough to hold the fort for a few days when he wasn't around. They came to an agreement happily. As a result, Felix's suffering was extended. He initially thought the newlyweds were about to head home, but Tristan called him to deliver the bad news. When he heard that, he had the urge to just break into tears. "Mr. Tristan, you went on honeymoon for over a week. Shouldn't you be back by now?" he protested, feeling upset at their extended holiday. "What's wrong with your ears? Didn't you hear what I said? I said we'll be back a few days later." But Felix couldn't fight back, so he was rather frustrated. "Mr. Tristan, Lombard Group belongs to you. Why am I working so hard for you?" he complained. "Am I that free? I have many things to attend to. Isabel and I are preparing to get married," he added indignantly. There were a ton of decisions to be made. Tristan replied calmly, "You've waited for over 10 years, so it won't be hard to wait a little longer. Sophie and I are heading out, so I need to go." He had decided to spend the next few days exploring the city with Sophie. If they stayed in the hotel, he knew he wouldn't be able to control himself. It was better to immerse themselves in being tourists and divert his attention. Isabel couldn't help but sympathize with Felix. After the call concluded, Felix flung his arms around Isabel. "I need you to comfort me. Your Uncle Tristan is nothing but a tyrant, constantly bossing me around. He is really too much," he grumbled. Isabel patted his back gently. "All right. He has been bossing you around for a long time. Have you not gotten used to it yet? I thought you'd already gotten used to it." Felix was rendered speechless. "I can't believe my girlfriend would say that. How could she?" Isabel kissed him on the lips and added, "Well, he can't help it as Sophie is gorgeous. Naturally, the newlyweds are having the time of their lives. Just hang on for a few more days, Felix agreed, albeit reluctantly. He had no choice but to suffer after all. "When we get married, let's go on a honeymoon as well. I'll leave all the responsibilities to him and focus on enjoying our time together," Felix said, feeling better at that idea. "Let's do that. When we get married, we'll have fun and leave all the work to them," Isabel agreed. She played along just to make him feel better. Felix's hands started roaming around her body. "When will you marry me then? When will you give me the chance to torture the others? Felix was done with people torturing him, and he wanted a chance to torture someone else. Isabel burst into giggles at the sight of his eager expression. Why don't you prepare the proposal? When I'm satisfied with it, we'll get married, she told him. Isabel desired all the things that other girls had. Although she was aware of Felix's love for her, she still wanted him to propose to her. Okay, got it. Don't worry, for I'll exceed your expectations, Felix promised. He would do his best to make her dreams come true. He loved her, and they would spend the rest of their lives together. Tristan and Sophie spent their first week of honeymoon in the mansion. After that, they planned to head out to have some fun. Their activity in the afternoon was surfing. Sophie had never surfed before, but she agreed readily when Tristan suggested the activity. She loved trying new stuff and didn't think that surfing was that hard. Fortunately, Tristan was a great instructor and taught her patiently. With him around, Sophie didn't have any trouble learning how to surf. Less than an hour later, Sophie had already mastered all the necessary skills. A wide grin broke across her face as she skillfully balanced on the surfboard and rode the waves, venturing far into the sea. It was a great feeling. Tristan was naturally pleased to see her enjoying herself. They both rode the waves on the sea, having fun together. After Sophie learned how to surf, Tristan taught her a few difficult moves. Sophie was smart enough to master them all shortly after. She might not be that skilled, but that didn't stop her from trying out the moves. The afternoon went by quickly. So long as they were in each other's company, it didn't matter what they did as they would be happy. They didn't feel like heading home as they were free to do anything they pleased here. With no work obligations or interruptions, they relished the newfound freedom, feeling as if there was no one else in the world except for them both. Sophie's body was aching by the time they stopped for the day. They padded back to the beach with their surfboards. Without hesitation, Sophie lay down on the sand and shut her eyes. Oh, this is tiring. It has been some time since I was this tired, she commented. Tristan sat beside her, shielding her from the sunlight. Feeling a shadow over her head, Sophie opened her eyes. Are you not tired? Don't you want to rest? She inquired, knowing that he must be drained after teaching her. I'm fine. The sun is scorching, so let me shield you from it, Tristan answered, being thoughtful as usual to care for her needs. I love you, Tristan, Sophie blurted out. Ah, I'm so lucky to marry someone as great as you. Indeed, she felt really fortunate. I love you too so much, Tristan whispered, his voice filled with affection. With no one around, he rolled over, playfully pinning her down, and their lips met in a fervent kiss. Sophie reciprocated with equal passion as Tristan pulled her closer. They couldn't have enough of each other. If they were at the mansion, Tristan would have succumbed to his desires. What should I do? I've lost all sense of self-control. When we're together, I cannot stop thinking about having sex with you, Tristan said helplessly. He couldn't help but ponder over the change in his behavior after they got married. He had never acted this way before that, and now he questioned why he had changed. I'm already yours to begin with, Sophie told him. There was nothing abnormal about their desire for each other. It was a natural instinct for humans to feel possessive of someone or something they deeply loved. In fact, there was nothing wrong with giving in to those desires. Tristan settled down on the beach and pulled her closer, making her sit in front of him. He then hugged her from behind. You're right. I love you, and there's nothing wrong about it, he agreed. They were a married couple, after all. Sophie nestled against his chest as they sat together, watching the ebb and flow of the tide. The scenery by the beach unfolded before them in all its breathtaking beauty. Tristan, Miralia is absolutely stunning. I've fallen in love with this place. We should definitely plan another visit, she suggested. The thought of returning to Miraloka, perhaps with their children in the future, filled her heart with anticipation. I'm glad you like it. We can pay a visit any time you want, Tristan told her, wondering if he should buy the mansion they were currently staying in. I should buy it, huh? She loves it here. and we've made many memories together. I don't want someone else to come and stay in the mansion." After they returned to the mansion, Tristan got someone to handle the procedures. "What? You want to buy a mansion in Miraloca? For what? You won't live there often," Felix exclaimed incredulously. "Just do as I say. I can definitely afford it, and I want to buy it because I genuinely like it," Tristan commanded, his tone firm and resolute. "You have 1 day to complete the procedures and transfer the ownership to Sophie." Felix was speechless. "I knew it. It's all because of Sophie again. Every unreasonable decision he makes is because of her. He has never really changed. Ugh, forget it. He wants to buy a mansion, right? Let him do so. It's not my money, anyway." Felix was highly efficient. Given how the world worked, people could do as they pleased as long as they were wealthy. That very night, the procedures were all complete. Someone was sent to deliver the house deed to the mansion personally. Tristan was very pleased when he received it. "What's wrong? Why do you look so happy? Did something good happen?" Sophie asked curiously. Hearing that, Tristan handed the house deed to her. "You like it here, right? We can come back any time you want, and we can even stay in this mansion again," he exclaimed triumphantly. Sophie took one look at the house deed before turning to look at Tristan. "That was quick. I mentioned it just a few hours ago, and now he's gone and bought a mansion here. It must have been quite expensive. Besides, we won't visit this place often. Mr. Tristan, if we were living in ancient times, you must be a foolish emperor," she remarked, finding it ridiculous that he bought such an expensive mansion just because of what she said. "I am happy to do that. Money doesn't guarantee happiness all the time, but in this case, it can bring you joy. And it's not a waste. Think of it as an investment," he reasoned, trying to justify his decision. Sophie had nothing else to say. After all, he had made that decision because of her. Sophie wrapped her arms around him and let out a sigh. "Well, I can't do anything about it now. From now on, can you please ask for my opinion first before making any decision?" "Okay. You'll get to call the shots for all the matters in our household," Tristan agreed. It was not an issue for Tristan to buy a mansion, so Sophie didn't say anything about it. After dinner, they went on a stroll. The nighttime scenery in Miralia was completely different from the daytime. Also, it was the first time they went outdoors at night after their arrival. The food alley was quite well known, so they visited that location. They didn't eat much during dinner because they wanted to save the stomach space to enjoy supper at the food alley. When Sophie saw the delicious food, she wanted to try a little bit of everything. Many people were in there, so Tristan held bags of food in one hand and grabbed her hand with another. Meanwhile, Sophie was holding a skewer with her other hand. After she took 2 bites, she didn't want to eat them anymore. Hence, she delivered the skewer to Tristan's mouth. "Open your mouth. I'll feed you. You also didn't cat much during dinner, right? Come, have some." In response, Tristan took a bite. "It's not too bad, right?" asked Sophie. "It seems like there's always a food alley like this everywhere. While various dishes are sold there, they aren't that delicious." "It's all right." Tristan wasn't a fan of grilled food. It wasn't until after he got together with her that he started eating dishes like that. "In that case, let's check out other places." Sophie's enthusiasm was pretty high, likely because she was in a place with other people who were similarly curious. "Okay." It was a pretty cramped location, so Tristan directly pulled her in front of him. Then, he protected her with both his hands, disallowing anyone from touching her. Upon turning around, Sophie kissed him. "You don't need to be this vigilant. I've been to all sorts of places before, relax." He doesn't seem to enjoy spending time at a place with lots of people. I know, as much as Tristan was aware of how incredible his wife was, he still wished to protect her. "All right, then. It's good that you're aware of it." Sophie rubbed her nose and strolled in the alley for a little longer before pulling him out of the crowd. "You're not going to spend more time there?" "Nope. I think that all food alleys are about the same, regardless of where they're located. I'm full. Is there anything you want to eat? Not really. Let's just wander around here a bit. The street they entered was a lot quieter compared to the food alley. Upon noticing Tristan appearing more at ease after they left the food alley, Sophie knew she was right. He really doesn't like hanging out at busy locations. If you don't like doing something in the future, you can just tell me. I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. There really is no need for him to force himself to go along with me. It is important for one to accommodate one's partner, after all. If one continues to keep quiet about one's displeasure, a conflict will eventually brew and affect the relationship. I just don't like places with many people, Tristan replied. It don't feel good being squeezed inside a crowd. It makes me feel like I'm sweating. If you don't like something, you should let me know. It doesn't matter why, I care about how you feel, and I don't want you to feel uncomfortable, Sophie requested. While I can feel his reaction, it's better if he just tells me. As they clasped their fingers tightly together, they moseyed down the street. The pace of their lifestyle had decreased greatly during their stay in Miraloka. Spending 24 hours together every day deepened their understanding of each other. It made them feel pretty good. Initially, they thought they had a comprehensive understanding of each other already, but they realized they had much more to learn and accommodate after getting married. That was the joy of a newlywed couple. When they returned to the mansion, Victor called Sophie. I hope you're having a wonderful time on your honeymoon, Ms. Sophie. What's the matter, Mr. Victor? She asked. Did something happen? Everyone knew the couple was on a honeymoon, so no one would call them unless there was a significant issue. We experienced a bit of a problem. Someone attacked our company's system. It's taken care of, but I still thought I should inform you about it, answered Victor. I've got a bad feeling about this. It's only been days since Ms. Sophie was away, yet someone had already attacked the company. I suspect people are targeting Tanner Group. All right. I understand. Don't worry. I'll take care of this, Sophie assured. Someone's targeting Tanner Group, eh? Well, it's to be expected. The brighter star draws more attention, after all. No need to worry too much, Ms. Sophie. I'm here to handle any issues. In any case, the company's system is operating fine again. Victor genuinely didn't want to bother Sophie. She's a newlywed after all, and there's no doubt she wants her intimate time with her new husband and not to be bothered. All right then. If anything happens, don't hesitate to call me, reminded Sophie. Tanner Group is mine, all for all. There's no way I'll ignore it. Upon ending the call, she turned on the computer in the mansion and started typing. Since someone is attempting to attack Tanner Group, I need to eliminate them so they can't threaten the company. What's the matter? Inquired Tristan after he left the bathroom and saw her operating the computer. She didn't touch one since arriving at Miraloka. An unknown hacker intruded Tanner Group's system. I suspect they're targeting us, so I want to capture them. Moments later, Sophie discovered who the culprit was. As she stared at the name, she sneered. Who do they think they are to go against me? The nerve of these people. Do you need my help? Can Victor take care of it? If he can't, I'll ask Felix to lend a hand. Tristan was aware of how much Sophie cared about Tanner Group and that she would do anything to defend it. No need. Victor can handle this. As for the culprit, I'll deal with them after we return, assured Sophie. I'm going to torment them and make them regret their actions. I can't believe they have the goal to assault my system with this skill level. What a joke. All right. You should bathe. It's getting late. Upon leaving the chair, she grabbed her nightgown and took a bath. When she left the bathroom, she saw Tristan waiting for her in bed. Come on, he uttered. Sophie was rendered speechless. Why does it feel like he's summoning a concubine? Still, she obediently went to bed and wormed into his embrace. Tristan was very satisfied with how well-behaved Sophie was. Now this is what I want to see. I really like how submissive you are right now. Are you saying you don't like how I was? questioned Sophie. "I want to see how he's going to answer this challenging question." "Of course I do. As long as it's you, I'll like everything about you regardless of how you act," Tristan answered. "There's nothing I dislike about her." Tristan slowly began feeling her up under the covers again. He had long since gotten familiar with every single one of her sensitive spots. Sophie melted helplessly at his every touch. She couldn't do anything except lie quivering beneath him as he did whatever he pleased to her body. He was completely entranced by every curve of her body. She almost seemed like his own personal drug that he simply couldn't pull away from. Nothing was more intriguing to him than mapping out every corner of her figure. Sophie had never been a shy person, not even in the face of sexual acts. All of her reactions were genuine, and she didn't hold anything back. The more she reacted, the further Tristan wanted to explore. He wanted to give her more and more just to make her feel and react the same way. The shower they had taken earlier proved useless after a few rounds of messing around. Sophie looked at him coquettishly and said, "You just wasted the shower we took just now." "Yeah, that's right. I did. It's okay though. I'll make up for it. How about I help you shower next? Would that help?" Despite having spent so much time in bed doing all sorts of things to her, he still had more than enough energy to spare. He barely batted an eye as he picked her up bridal style. She felt safe and comfortable in his embrace, which was a feeling she particularly enjoyed. She was lazy to act like she didn't want him to carry her, so she comfortably allowed him to serve her. He carried her to the bathroom and gently scrubbed at her skin and hair. He then dressed her in her pajamas and carried her back out of the bathroom before drying her hair for her. His movements were all so tender and loving that Sophie found herself closing her eyes. She was very relaxed. "I'm really tired," she said pitifully. If he didn't find a way to control his physical cravings, she might actually pass away from exhaustion next time. "I know. Don't worry. I'm not that much of a monster. You can rest now," he said. He couldn't do anything about the lust he felt for her almost constantly, but he decided to let her rest for today. After all, they had spent a long time in bed. He didn't want to hurt her by accident. He would never forgive himself if he hurt her. Sophie finally relaxed at his assurance. She was completely drained and was no longer in the mood for anything sexual. Tristan tucked her in before he went for a shower. Sophie couldn't help but chuckle at the sight of his retreating figure. No one could have imagined that Tristan Lombard, who had a reputation for being aloof and arrogant, would have such a different approach to his marriage. Despite that, he still respected her. Whenever she said she was tired or didn't want to do anything else, he never forced her otherwise. He never made her feel guilty for it, either. She was more than content that she had found such a good man. She was already imagining the happy future they would have together. After all, she could tell that Tristan really loved her. He finished showering and finally lay down with her in his arms. He had found that he slept much better when he could hug her to sleep. She also slept much better in his embrace. They never seemed to grow out of their honeymoon period. Another week passed in the blink of an eye. They had been away for almost 2 weeks now. Tristan felt reluctant to go back. He enjoyed being in Miralia. They were alone and no one came to bother them. They could do whatever they wanted. The past 2 weeks had been full of good food, a good rest, and a good time in general. He didn't want to go back in the slightest. However, he knew that Felix would probably go insane if he didn't return soon. Lombard Group was a very big corporation. The fact that Northley Group was now added onto that list for the time being meant that they would have a lot on their plate. Tristan was still full of longing even when they got on the plane. "Let's go back. Why don't we spend a whole month here?" Tristan whined. He was really starting to dread going home. Sophie held his hand. "We can go anywhere as long as we're together, right? Even if we go back, things will still be the same," she said. The last 2 weeks had been great, but they had to go back eventually. Jipsdale was their home, after all. She leaned against his shoulder. "Promise me that you won't neglect me when we get back, okay?" He couldn't blame the fact that Sophie was always needed by those around her. She was extremely talented. Don't worry. That will never happen. You're the most important person in my life. I would never neglect you, Sophie said. It was her first time realizing that guys needed to be coddled sometimes, too. After marrying Tristan, she found out that he had a childish side to him as well. Okay. I'll take your word for it. The two of them reached the Lombard residence after more than 10 hours of traveling. Sophie felt relaxed at the sight of those familiar surroundings. No matter how glamorous or fun other places could be, home was still the best place for her. She really did love her country. William grinned widely at the sight of Sophie's return. All of his hope was riding on her shoulders now. After spending such a long time together, he hoped that she was already bearing his grandchild. He couldn't wait for that day to come. Sarah and Isabel were at home as well. They were ready to welcome Sophie and Tristan since they heard the two of them would be coming home that day. When they arrived at lunchtime, Sophie and Tristan joined the rest for lunch after washing their hands. Was Miralia fun, Sophie? I'll drag Felix there for our honeymoon once we get married if it lived up to the hype, Isabel said excitedly. She had never been to Miraloca. Yeah, it's really fun. There are a lot of fun things to do. We bought a mansion there, so if you guys decide to go, you have a place to stay, Sophie replied. Tristan shook his head. No. If she wants to go to Miralia, then Felix should buy their own place there. That mansion belongs to us. I don't want anyone else staying there. The mansion was full of Sophie and Tristan's happy memories. He didn't want anyone else's presence to spoil the special moments they had created there. And he didn't care even if it was just Isabel and Felix. Why are you so stingy? Be a man. You're acting like a little girl. We'll only be staying there for a few days. There's nothing wrong with that. Isabel couldn't believe how petty he was being. Tristan glanced at her. I bought that mansion, so I have the right to decide whether I want you there or not, right? Do you have something to say to that? He didn't back down at all. He truly did love Isabel, but he wasn't about to cater to her every demand. That was a promise he had made to himself. Grandpa, Uncle Tristan is being unfair. Tell him to stop bullying me, Isabel said. Tristan was being way too petty. She simply couldn't stand it. Don't be so unreasonable, Isabel. Don't call Sophie by her name, okay? She's your aunt now. Don't be so rude, William said crossly. Sophie and Isabel may have been around the same age and were rather close, but he didn't want Isabel to forget her place. Isabel had always called Sophie by her name. Having to call her aunt was an extremely strange experience. Seeing Isabel's troubled expression, Sophie smiled and reassured her. Dad, it's all right. Isabel and I are around the same age, so we address each other casually. Isabel couldn't get used to addressing Sophie in a different manner. Okay then. As long as you're happy. William had never imposed strict demands on Sophie. His only wish was for her to be content. After all, she was an independent young lady. Isabel played with her food absent-mindedly, pushing it around in her bowl. Sarah, why do I have this strange feeling that I'm losing favor in this family? She had always been doted on at home. You're not mistaken. So, why don't you go and enjoy your relationship with Felix? Teased Sarah. This harmonious atmosphere within the family was great. The joy of being together as a family outweighed everything else. After the lively meal ended, Tristan and William retired to the study. Staring as William sat behind the desk, Tristan raised an eyebrow. Dad, I still have to spend time with my wife. What's the matter? Just tell me directly. Why do you keep staring at me like that? Tristan asked with a hint of dissatisfaction. They had already been in the study for a few minutes, but William just remained silent. You brat. No one in this family would ever harm Sophie. Everyone, including Isabel, Sarah, and I are obsessed with her. As the entire family liked Sophie a lot, nobody would ever think of hurting her. What's the matter? Get straight to the point. Well, here's the thing. I understand you newlyweds want some time alone after getting married, but I really yearn for a grandchild. I don't care if it's a boy or a girl. I'm not sexist. Hence, you should put in some effort, okay? Tristan was left speechless. Why is my father so cute? Dad, it's been less than a month since our wedding. Why the rush? Okay, I get your point. I'll leave now if there's nothing else. Tristan didn't want to prolong this fruitless discussion in the study. When it came to having children, it was better to let things unfold naturally. He didn't want to dwell on it unnecessarily. He enjoyed their current life, where both of them just spent time with each other. They would think about having children in the future. However, if a child were to come along, he would welcome it too. William was at a loss for words. After marrying his wife, he's forgotten all about his dad. However, he was pleased to see how happy they were. Sarah was initially spending time with the two of them. However, after receiving a phone call, she had to leave. Sarah, is everything all right? If you're facing any trouble, please let me know. We're here to help, Sophie offered when she saw the grim look on Sarah's face. Sarah placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. It's all right. You've just returned, so rest well at home. Juan is facing some trouble. I'm going to check on him, shared Sarah openly. Sarah was always like this when it came to Juan. Even though her words might be harsh, she couldn't truly disregard him. Isabel shook her head. That's my dearest Aunt Sarah. She really can't let go of Juan. After Sarah left, Isabel laid on the couch. Sophie, is marriage really as wonderful as it seems? Just look at you. Your skin became so good after you came back. It's true that women need men to nourish them. What nonsense are you talking about? Sophie blushed slightly. However, Isabel was always like this, blurting whatever came to her mind. I'm serious. Your skin became so supple and dewy after you came back. It seems like being married is really a good thing. It's even making me consider tying the knot with Felix. Whenever Isabel thought about Felix, she would feel very happy. He treated her well and obeyed her every wish. She no longer wanted to keep him waiting, so she wanted to marry him. Yeah, Felix is amazing. If you want to get married, go for it. As the person who loved Isabel the most, Felix would definitely shower her with affection. You think so too, right? I just hope that news of marriage won't cause my fans to run away. You're a singer, not an idol. Your work speaks for itself. There was no reason why singers should not be married. Naturally, Isabel could do that too. Isabel hugged Sophie. Indeed, you understand me the most. But Felix is just a blockhead. Despite all my hints for him to prepare a proposal, he still hasn't made a move after so long. That blockhead. I don't know how to deal with him. Proposals are just mere formalities. What truly matters is that both of you are happy. Although this aspect is important, it is not necessarily the case that one should not marry a man who did not go through such formalities. Yeah. Just when both of them were chatting, Tristan knocked on the door. Isabel couldn't help but roll her eyes. Uncle Tristan is so pushy. She only arrived a moment ago. Can't he wait? She hugged Sophie tightly. Sophie, ask him to leave. Don't let him enter. He's here to snatch you away from me. Sophie couldn't contain her laughter. Have you forgotten that he's my husband? Okay, go find Felix. We still have things to do. They needed to tend to other matters that day. As expected, I can't win Uncle Tristan. Once he is here, Sophie's no longer mine. This is such a bittersweet feeling. Fine, leave then. I knew it. You no longer love me. You truly don't love me anymore. Isabel pretended to shed tears. What else can I do? Sophie playfully pinched Isabel's chubby cheeks. That's not true. Tristan and I love you dearly. I don't believe it. If they love me, how can they leave me here all alone? The feeling was far from pleasant. Let's go, Sophie. We still got things to do. Ignore her. Let her find her own boyfriend. Tristan's voice sounded from outside. I'm going now. I'll come back at night. Fine. I'll be home tonight waiting for you. Don't stand me up, or I'll be devastated, okay? Since everyone had left, Isabel could only call Felix. Where are you? Come over and pick me up. I'm hurt. My heart is aching. I need solace. Indeed, only Felix would not abandon her. What happened? Asked Felix worriedly as he set aside his work immediately. Everything was fine. How can she be hurt? Felix, you won't believe it. Uncle Tristan is being unreasonable. I was just chatting with Sophie for a while before he swooped in and whisked her away. He laughed upon hearing her words. They are newlyweds. It's only natural that they don't want you to disturb them. Come to me instead. Tristan escorted Sophie back to the Tanner residence. Regardless of the circumstances, they still had to pay a visit after marrying. The trunk was filled with the things Tristan had purchased. Sophie, naturally, had no objections. If Tristan decided to come, she would gladly accompany him. There was no need to dwell upon the matter further. They soon arrived at the Tanner family residence. Caleb, who happened to have the day off, promptly arranged for a meal to be prepared when he saw them. He insisted they stay for dinner. As he had neglected Sophie in the past, he wished to play the role of her elder brother well. Charmaine and Willow came downstairs too. Willow did not dare to toe the line in front of Tristan, so she appeared very docile. After all, life at the deserted island wasn't great. Likewise, Charmaine did not dare to treat Sophie as casually as before. No matter what, Sophie was now Tristan's wife. She was not someone to be trifled with easily. After seeing the gifts that Tristan prepared, she did not dare to run her mouth recklessly. You must join us for dinner tonight. It's been ages since we had a family meal, said Caleb to Sophie. Sophie, I know that many unpleasant things happened between us in the past, but that's all behind us now. Now that you're married, please stay for dinner. Caleb was afraid that Sophie would refuse, so he insisted. Unexpectedly, she nodded. We can stay for dinner today. It's just a meal. You don't have to say so much. That's wonderful. Caleb heaved a sigh of relief when Sophie agreed. There was nothing much for them to talk about. After all, things had irrevocably changed. Sophie proceeded to pay her respects to Josiah. Grandfather, we've returned. Sophie was always exceptionally gentle when she was facing Josiah. If only Grandpa is still here. But alas, it's impossible now. Once someone is gone, they are truly gone. No matter how deeply I long for his return, he can never come back. No human can change the outcomes of life and death. Tristan came to her side and held her hand to offer solace. He understood that Josiah was a permanent wound in her heart. Enough now. Don't be sad. If your grandfather knew, he'll be sad. After all, he doted on you the most, didn't he? Indeed, Josiah really doted on Sophie, which was what made her struggle to let go of the past. Yeah. Having nothing to talk about, Willow and Charmaine went upstairs after sitting there for a while. Once certain relationships were formed, it would be hard to change them, especially considering the audacious acts that Willow and Charmaine had done in the past. However, the tables had changed now. Willow, in particular, could not bear witnessing Sophie's overwhelming happiness, which contrasted with her own pathetic downfall. Faced with these circumstances, she was left with no solutions. All she could do was retreat to her room silently and seethe in anger while lying on her bed. The remaining three of them sat together. When Sophie asked about Caleb's time at the Institute of Physics, he said that he was quite satisfied with his experience there. Since the director valued him greatly and he was quite a capable team player himself, he was having a good time at the Institute of Physics. By the way, the director wants you to visit him after you come back. He has a favor to ask of you. Caleb never doubted Sophie's abilities. Okay, I'll make time to see him. Since the director had done her such a big favor, she naturally had to help him in return. Sophie, you agreed to the director's conditions because of me, right? She was already busy with her responsibilities in the medical associations, besides having to manage the Tanner group. Don't overthink. I share a good relationship with the director, so I'll definitely help if he needs me. It has nothing to do with you. Most importantly, she was really talented in physics research. Okay. Take good care of yourself and don't get too tired. No matter how capable you are, you're still a young girl. I understand. No need to worry. He will take care of me. Sophie glanced at Tristan beside her. Even if she neglected her own well-being, she knew that Tristan would be there for her. Tristan hugged Sophie's shoulder. Rest assured, bro. I will take good care of her. Tristan and Caleb were around the same age, but he still referred to Caleb as his elder brother. Caleb was taken aback when he heard Tristan calling him that. However, upon witnessing how well Tristan treated Sophie, his worries subsided. Isn't it natural for my sister's husband to call me bro? Why should I be startled? During dinner, Willow excused herself by claiming to be ill. Although Charmaine came down, she didn't eat much. Tristan and Sophie remained unaffected. Whether Charmaine ate or not, it was her own business. They had no right to meddle. Although Caleb was not entirely pleased with his mother and Willow's behavior, he refrained from voicing his discontent as Sophie and Tristan were still there. After dinner, he personally escorted them to the door. Come back for dinner whenever you have the time. Now that I'm back, I'll watch over you. Caleb also intended to protect Sophie. Caleb, you don't need to worry about me. Take care of yourself. She was married now. Furthermore, she knew how to take care of herself. Okay. When Tristan and Sophie left, Willow stood by the window and glared at the departing vehicle, her hands clenched into fists. How can Sophie always be so fortunate? Charmaine, who had gone to Willow's room, shook her head when she saw Willow staring at them. Willow, didn't I tell you? You can't compare to Sophie now. There's no use feeling jealous about her life anymore. It will only bring you more unhappiness. Why not focus on living your life to the fullest? Willow turned around and saw Charmaine standing behind her. It felt as if her inner thoughts were suddenly laid bare in public, leaving her a bit vulnerable. Mom, what are you saying? I simply felt a bit gloomy, which is why I didn't come down for dinner. There are no other reasons. What else can I do? I can never catch up to Sophie. Good that you know. Just live your life to the fullest and find a decent man for yourself. The world of the elite wasn't as glamorous as it seemed. A decent man? What kind of man is that? Am I only deserving of an average man now? Mom, I'm Tristan's sister-in-law now. I believe that I still have a chance. The title of Tristan's sister-in-law carried some weight. Charmaine was left speechless. Indeed, being known as Tristan's sister-in-law carried a certain level of prestige. However, considering Willow's complicated relationship with Sophie, there was no telling how others would treat Willow if they found out. Mom, haven't you always supported me in the past? Can you help me again? I want to marry into a prestigious family, no matter the cost. Willow simply couldn't bear her own mediocrity.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.